Or D. The ability to comprehend. Press the Q key to repeat the question. Strike 1. Give it another try. We have a winner. Any action that you perform regularly as part of your routine can be called a habit. Flossing your teeth would be considered a good habit. Sucking your thumb would be considered a bad habit, especially as an adult. On New Year's, people always vow to break their bad habits, but bad habits die hard. The noun habit can also refer to an established custom, like the habit of breaking bread with your family every holiday. On a completely different note, clothing that is worn for horseback riding, or by a nun or monk, can also be called a habit. All good nuns should be in the habit of washing their habits. Press the R. Question 2. This question is from the New York Times. Fill in the blank in the following sentence. At blank, plants built in volcanic areas, steam dredged from deep inside the earth is turned into electricity. What word fits best? A. Geothermal. B. Cosmological. C. Cartographic. Or D. Homozygous. Correct. In this question, geothermal is an adjective that means of or relating to the heat in the interior of the earth. Heat that rises from the center of the earth is geothermal. If you ever have the chance to dip your toes in a natural hot spring, you can feel that geothermal warmth for yourself. Anything that's thermal has to do with heat, from the Greek therma. The prefix geo, or earth, makes it clear that this type of heat rises from the planet itself. Hot springs are warmed by geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is also a renewable source of heat and power. Many buildings use geothermal heating, and it's also a good way to generate electricity. Question 3. This question is from U.S. News. In the following sentence. Correct. In this question, raise is a verb that means to put forward for consideration or discussion. If you raise your hand, you put it up in the air. If you raise your daughter, you bring her up from childhood to adulthood. And, if you raise the roof, you and a crowd of people cheer wildly for a performer. Raise can be used almost any time you bring something up, either literally, if you raise the lid on that trapdoor you will see a secret passage, or figuratively, please don't raise the topic of my arachnophobia. The verb raise comes from the Old English word re-ran, which means to rear, as in, do you really want to raise your children in that town? As a noun, a raise can also mean a salary increase. Question 4. This question is from A Deadly Wandering, a Mystery, a Landmark Investigation, and the Astonishing Science of Attention in the Digital Age, by Matt Richtel. In the following sentence, what does the verb impressed mean? Terrell impressed upon Kayleen the idea that Reggie had swerved into the oncoming lane several times before the wreck. In this sentence, impressed means A. Idolized. B. Ignored. C. Instilled. Or D. Insulated. Nope, that wasn't it either. Third time's a charm, huh? In this question, impress is a verb that means to produce or try to produce a vivid mental image of. Think of the verb impress as leaving a mark. You might impress a print onto canvas, or you might impress prospective employers in a job interview. Whether that impression will be good or bad is up to you. The past participle of the Latin verb imprimere, to press, is impressus, which evolved in the 14th century to the meaning to make a permanent image. That meaning included a figurative meaning of to impress upon the mind or heart. Impress also means conscription into the military, or taking people to serve against their will, in other words, the draft. Question 5. This question is from the BBC. In the following sentence, what does the verb husbanding mean? Supporters say it is husbanding scarce resources and asking for a reasonable quid pro quo. In this sentence, husbanding means A. Accepting, B. Conserving, C. Separating. We have a winner. In this question, husband is a verb that means to use cautiously and frugally. A husband is a married man. Your grandfather might joke that he and your grandmother have been husband and wife for so long because she has the patience of a saint and he is deaf as a post. The word husband comes from the Old Norse Question 6. This question is from Project Gutenberg. Fill in the blank in the following sentence. But what shall we think, when we see those very persons, who, blank, to live after the rules and precepts laid down in the Word of God, act diametrically contrary to them? What word? Correct. In this question, profess is a verb that means to confess one's faith in, or allegiance to. To profess is to declare something, often insincerely. Your joy on the last day of school might lead you to profess that you'll truly miss seeing all the people who annoyed you all year. You can profess something and mean it, but more often the verb profess is used when someone lies about their true feelings. You might profess your love of your grandmother's tuna casserole, or profess that you never bite your fingernails, but you're just saying what you think people want to hear. The original meaning of profess described taking religious vows, and came from the Latin word professus, meaning having declared publicly. Question 7. This question is from the New York Times. In the following sentence, what does the verb glean mean? The Lead is a news blog that remixes the day's top stories, adding information gleaned from websites around the world or gathered through original reporting by writers, editors and readers of the New York Times, to provide fresh perspectives on events and to draw readers into the worldwide conversation about the news taking place online. In this sentence, glean means A. Repeated, B. Predicted, C. Denatured, or D. Gathered. Press the Q key to. You got it. To glean is to gather ideas or information bit by bit. Glean originally meant to pick over a field after the harvest, now it means to gather anything, not just seeds and grains. When you glean information, you sort through ideas and take what you need. Seeing a word in context lets you glean information about how it's used. For example, if you want to find treasures at a thrift shop, you'll have to glean the good stuff out of the piles of junk. To glean a field means to walk along and see what's left on the ground. It takes patience to glean. Question 8. This question is from Project Gutenberg. Fill in the blank in the following sentence. Every blank of furniture stood in exactly the same place it had always stood. What word fits best? A. Article, B. Yield, C. Entry. Nope, Bison. In this question, article is a noun that means one of a class of artifacts. A piece of nonfiction prose written for a publication is one kind of article. But a piece of a collection of something is also an article, like an article of clothing. If you're talking grammar, definite and indefinite articles are words, such as a, an, and the, whose purpose is to indicate, specify and limit a noun. An article of faith is something that is firmly believed. And an article of organization or incorporation is a section of a legal document that sets out rules for a company. Question 9. Which of the following words is closest in meaning to the noun, majesty? A. Remoteness, B. Loneliness, C. Stateliness, or D. Agreeableness. Press the Q key to repeat the question. No. What's your second guess? That wasn't it either. See if you can spot the right answer now. You're a genius. In this question, majesty is a noun that means impressiveness in scale or proportion. Majesty describes a quality that takes your breath away, it's so impressive. The Grand Canyon has it, and so does a British monarch, supposedly. The word majesty brings to mind a luxurious castle, which is appropriate because it is also used to address or refer to a king or queen. The Latin root word is majestatem, which means greatness, dignity, or excellence, and people first used the noun majesty to talk about God. It was England's King Henry VIII who decided that majesty would be the official way to address a British monarch.